So now we'll be starting off with the first show of the night, where the trauma left from a father's death grew to rising tensions between mother and daughter. Here is Both of My Parents, written by Jade, Lacy, and April Peng, and directed by Lanijah Williams and Victoria Wang.
So I understand you're here because you've been struggling a bit with your classes?
Yeah, well, it was mandated because I failed like a class or two. I mean, it was either this or I'd probably have to go to some disciplinary meeting and get kicked out, so I'm here. I mean, it's not like anything's wrong. Like, genuinely, I'm fine. It's just that I got a DUI, like, right before my midterm, and I had to go sort that shit out. Stuff, sorry. I just didn't have time to study, you know? So it was purely circumstantial. Like, I'm not the type to fail. I mean, I'm not the type to get DUIs either. Like, that was so not like me. I don't even know how it happened. Sorry, I've been talking so much. Aren't you supposed to say something? Oh, shit. Sorry if that was rude. Sorry for saying shit.
It's all right, Jiaqi. Don't worry. Let's slow down. Take a moment. What happened with the DUI?
It was literally so stupid.
That cop had something up his ass.
Jackie just has no idea how to deal with them.
Yeah, like, I've been pulled over like a million times, but I just smile and they go away.
It's not that hard to walk in a straight line.
Totally. Like, I feel bad that we asked her to drive.
It's not your fault. You told her she was the designated driver.
She was designated driver?
Well, it's not important who exactly told her. But it was obvious. It was my party. And that's one of my birthday wishes was to get wasted with all of my best friends. Which means Jackie had to be the DD. I was being so nice. I should have trusted her with my Jag.
Yeah, she had like 2 drinks. The rest of us were totally gone.
Exactly. We were right to ask her to drive. And after we explained our reasoning, which was obvious if you ask me, she decided to go ahead and do it herself.
I guess we should be grateful that nothing worse happened.
She was literally safe to drive. Actually, it was low-key a bit rude. She didn't want to order anything. I said no gifts. She could have splurged a little bit on the party.
The cop could totally tell she was drunk, though. I guess it's just that thing. Asian shine?
Like, she drinks moonshine?
No, that's poor people. Well, even if it's not really our fault, I still feel bad that she's upset, you know?
Her mom got, like, so pissed. I don't get why she even told her about it.
She had to pay the fine. Her mom doesn't give her money or anything. I guess it's like a tiger mom thing.
Well, look who's talking. Your mom wears 2 different underwear.
Oh my god, shut up! No, I mean, her mom is like...
Psycho?
Yeah, like, she just blows up for no reason.
I feel bad for her. I can't imagine growing up like that.
Yeah, it would totally drive me to drink.
And drive.
Oh my god, not funny!
It was my fault anyway. I just couldn't handle my alcohol. It wouldn't even have been a big deal. I just got into a big fight with my mom.
What happened between you two?
I was home for Thanksgiving and asked her to help pay off my DUI, which was honestly such a big mistake. I should have just handled it myself, but she went crazy, like batshit fucking crazy. Like, she started saying all this awful stuff about my dad.
What happened with your dad?
He died when I was 17. Yeah. It was a car crash as well, so I guess I get why she was mad, but it was an accident. The traffic light was broken or something, and I was fine anyway. But she was making him out to be some sort of monster and saying I was a failure like him. Whatever. I'd rather be like him than like her. You know, she said I was her biggest regret. What sort of parent says that to their kid? And then she told me to get the fuck out and never come back, so I haven't spoken to her since.
That must have been difficult. Has your relationship with your mom always been so strained?
It definitely got worse after Dad. Like, junior year of high school.
How did you handle losing your dad?
No, yeah, Jiaqi dealt with it so well. Of course, the first month or so was rough, but we were so young. If my dad just died like that, it was so sudden, this freak accident. I think the fact that there was no one to blame made it harder for her. 5 stages of grief and all. Or is it 7? Either way, you have to be angry for a little bit. No, it wasn't awkward at all. I mean, she would joke about it and stuff all the time. It's how she copes, I guess. Her dad was such a funny guy. Like, not even in a dad way. He was just cool. This one time on Jiaqi's birthday, her dad pulled up to school and told the office that she had an appointment. She was so confused when she left class and then didn't come back all day. We were honestly kind of nervous, but she showed up at my house later that night with this whole new outfit on. Her dad had lied to the school, took her to the mall, just to spend the day together. I begged my parents to do that too, but obviously it was a no-go. I haven't seen much of her lately, or really since her dad died, I guess. Her mom is just super strict. Like, my parents are too, but it was just on a whole nother level after the accident. And then, obviously, senior year was all college apps and figuring out the rest of our lives. She went pretty far away for school and doesn't really visit all that often. Can't be helped. We just grew apart, I guess.
I mean, how does anyone handle shit like that? I just had to carry on. I just wanted to talk about it. Honestly. I just wanted to talk about him. Who he was to me. But people get weird around you when your dad dies. Everyone at school looked at me like I was an atomic bomb or a lost puppy. I was so sick of it. And then they say shit like, at least you still have your mom. Like, what the fuck is that supposed to mean? I'm supposed to be grateful that I'm not completely orphaned? My mom only made everything harder. It was like a cold-hearted devil had taken her place. She became obsessed with my grades and never let me go out anywhere or do anything. It was like she wanted to imprison me in my misery. Like my suffering somehow lessened her suffering. I just wanted to talk. She was the only one who went through it with me. She just wouldn't talk.
You must have felt very alone. I understand. Do you remember how his death affected your mom?
Give it up, Lynn. She hasn't shown up since Peter died.
Is it so crazy to want our sister at New Year's? Chili's deserves an Evite.
I miss her sticky rice.
I haven't had it since the memorial. Damn shame.
It was a little too salty. Not like how she usually makes it.
Probably from her tears, cooking for her own husband's memorial. Ren is a stubborn one.
Don't be ridiculous. She would never cry in the kitchen, only in the arms of her big brother.
You must be talking about me.
What? No chance in hell. She only cried with me.
Like you could do anything. I'm the strong one.
You're the stupid one. I have emotional intelligence.
She needs a brother, not a sister.
Stop it! You two are ridiculous. She cried every moment of the day that Jiaqi wasn't around. A real sister knows.
Such a strong girl, that one.
Takes after her mother. Stubborn as all hell.
Ren has no choice. She's gotta support that girl all by herself. No time for trips to Vegas with you two.
One big win, and all her troubles would be solved. I'll convince her someday.
One big loss, and she'd be out for our necks. She takes her money seriously.
Money or no, I just wish you'd make a Facebook like I keep telling her. I haven't seen a picture of Jiaqi in years.
You're obsessed with that book.
It's a website, dinosaur. You post updates about your life so we don't have to talk to you.
You two would miss your big brother too much.
I just worry about my baby sister. She never lets anyone see how much her heart is hurting.
She was fine. She never cried. She never even talked about him. If anything, it was like she was mad at him, which is ridiculous because it wasn't his fault. And she threw out all his things like they were trash. Pictures, clothes, his books, and DVDs, they were just gone. And the worst part, she chucked the records he bought me, like real vintage ones as well, like the Beatles and AC/DC. They were my stuff. She had absolutely no right. It was bullshit.
Jackie, let's take a moment.
No. And if that wasn't enough, she moved in my freshman year into this tiny little bungalow without even asking me. I grew up in that house. My bedroom walls were covered with stars and butterflies that Dad painted with me. There was a clump of dried wax on the windowsill from when he left the candle to burn for too long on Christmas. And the kitchen always smelled slightly of this pasta sauce he used to make, which tasted different every time he'd make it because he couldn't follow a recipe to save his life. Now it's just a house with 4 walls.
It sounds like you feel betrayed by her.
I do.
Did you ever ask her why?
Why what?
Why she got rid of your records?
It's expensive, but it's what Jiaqi wants. A private university, good professors, far away from here. And I found ways to make it work, but it didn't come cheap. I had to sell the house and almost everything inside it. Jiaqi doesn't appreciate it one bit. She's angry that I got rid of all those records, but we didn't even have a record player. At least now she has all her books. We didn't even have the money for the records in the first place. I worked overtime to pay our bills every November because of all those damn birthday gifts we couldn't afford. And now, cost us hundreds of dollars because she wanted to drink and drive. I don't know how I messed up like this. I swore I wouldn't let her become you. But all my hard work, everything I've done for her has only pushed her further away from me and closer to destroying her life.
Because she's completely heartless. She'll just get rid of my favorite dresses without asking sometimes. And whenever I ask her for anything, she's always so stingy about it. And she used to get mad at Dad for buying me presents. Like she just didn't want me to be happy. So honestly, I'm not surprised that she threw those records away because she never wanted me to have them in the first place.
We just fight like cats and dogs. She says I'm heartless, stingy, calls me a bitch in her room when she thinks I can't hear her. Me. The bitch who works weekends to keep her in school. The bitch who lives in this tiny house with used furniture just to keep us afloat. For her entire life, I've been the only one making sure she has a future. And she doesn't care. And after everything, she doesn't even want to come home. She doesn't want to eat my food or take my advice. I think it might be too late. I'm losing her.
So can she honestly blame me for not going back? I hate that cold, empty house. Nothing's felt like home since Dad died. She hasn't felt like my mom since Dad died. It's like I've lost both my parents. I just wanted to...
I couldn't bring myself to...
talk about it.
You're already gone, and there's nothing we can do.
She was the only one who understood what it felt like.
What is there to say?
How can she just pretend like it never even happened? Like he never existed?
We can live our lives with one foot in the grave, or we can move on.
I don't want to move on. I don't want to forget that I had a dad. All I needed was her support.
I'm doing everything I can to support her.
I just needed her to be a mom, you know? To take me in her arms and tell me she loves me.
I raised her when you wanted to be her friend, and I kept us afloat when you died.
Bringing me a plate of oranges won't fix anything.
And yet, I have never been enough. She's always wanted you.
Maybe she just doesn't love me the way Dad loved me.
Not the way that she loved you. God, I hate you. I hate you, I really do. I hate you for lying to me and saying that you were ready to be a father. You never changed, and it didn't even matter. I was always there to balance the books, pair up whatever useless thing you decided was more important than keeping the lights on. I hate that every Christmas morning, you would help her rip the paper off the gifts that I wrapped and play with her all day while I cleaned up the mess. And I will never, ever forgive you for leaving us. You made a choice that night. You got into your car, turned the key, and drove away knowing that you were too drunk to drive. You never took a second to consider what you might be doing to us. Not your entire life. She has no idea what kind of man you truly were. I never told her that the crash was your fault. I hid the bills, the police reports, the lawsuits. I let her grieve for the man she thought you were. It was my gift to you and her, but no good deed goes unpunished. But I still need you. I'm losing her, Peter. I don't know how to get through to her like you did. I spent so much time trying to make sure that she wasn't making the same mistakes as you, but every day she gets further away from me and I don't know how to make things right.
Jiaqi, are you still there? Are you alright?
I'm sorry.
I understand. Thank you for sharing your feelings. I know it must have been difficult for you to talk about this. Losing a parent's hard, Jiaqi, but losing the image you have of that parent when they're not who you thought they'd be, that's almost just as hard. Maybe your mom doesn't love you the way your dad loved you, but is there a right way to love?
But she's made so many mistakes. Sometimes too many.
Our parents are not just an extension of us. They have their own stories too. We have to realize their shortcomings as parents are not their shortcomings as people.
But it's her fault, not mine.
Yes, that may be true. But sometimes we have to be the ones to break the cycle they created, because they were trapped in it first.
I'm coming home for New Year's.
Can we talk?